Hello and welcome to another episode of Stacking Triggers. I'm here. I didn't see nothing. I ain't no snitch. I'm Bill. Dan, what are you up to?
All cheaters are bastards.
We're just going to roll right into it this week. It is the RC Ghent, the European RC. This is a heated day because it's Saturday for us. It was day one for them, I believe. Yep.
It sure was. Yep.
So, big drama out of that big tournament. There was a cheater allegedly caught on camera during one of the feature matches. Also, we got coming up, though, we're going to talk about that, but we're also going to just talk about the current standings in Ghent. And then we have our Fortnight and Magic and a change to the Suspend rules with murders at Karlov Manor.
Yeah.
So let's just jump right into it. The RC cheater, Dan, you and I have been holding tongues all day because we didn't want to get into it before the show. So let's go ahead. Let's start with some backstory.
Yeah, let's set the stage. This is round 2. This is a feature match between Esper Reanimator and Amulet Titan. The Amulet player passes turn. The Reanimator player has a polluted delta on the battlefield, and at the end of Amulet's turn, they fetch, searching up what eventually winds up being a godless shrine. However, it was noticed in the chat that they picked up a copy of Grief from the middle of their library, moved it, or from the back half of their library, moved it towards the middle, and then continued to search for this particular godless shrine, and then eventually moved that Grief to the top of their library, in which they shuffled their library, and it looked as though, some people disagree on this, but it looked as though the top card of the library never changed positions. The deck was then offered to the Amulet player to cut. The Amulet player cut the deck, and the game proceeded.
Okay. So I want a little more backstory here.
Okay.
I am not as familiar with the new Grief decks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would he? So I've seen on Twitter that some people were arguing he did not want a Grief, and that's why he put it at the top, so to ensure it would be cut towards the middle. Is this an accurate statement?
I would agree, because the Polluted Delta was only their second land for the game, and in their hand, I believe, was Ephemerate.
Okay.
So they would not be able to evoke the Grief at any point in that next turn, and they likely would have needed to evoke that Grief. I don't remember how the game went. I was watching it kind of, but it was also round 2, and round 2 was taking place like 5 a.m. and I'm like in and out of that match in the first place. So in my head, yes, that player did not want that Grief at all. So that is why they wanted to put it on top, so that way when it was cut, it would be put in the middle of their library. Is my opinion. Of course, it could have this could not be intentional. This could have been a complete accident. It could have been something stupid that they were doing. I don't know. All I know is what I saw. Do you require more additional backstory? Do you need additional pylons?
I do need additional pylons. No, I'm just looking through kind of the players' deck list now, since it's an open deck list tournament. I'm just kind of looking. They are in game 2. This player has won the first game,
Correct,
as well. So I'm just trying to kind of see here, because I'm seeing normally he runs 4, like pre-board. He's running 4 Grief in the main, and a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
So the fact that he moved this to the top of his deck and kept it there, I 100% agree. This is scummy. This is nasty. I don't like that. You just shouldn't do that.
Yes.
100% agree. I also agree, though, with the head judge's decision to not ban. I agree with this, because we're seeing on camera what they're doing with their hands.
Yes.
we can't see if they're looking at each other. We can't see if they're watching each other shuffle, but also the fact that the cut is presented. The other opponent, by rule, should have actually just shuffled that deck
Yes.
instead of just a cut, right? REL rules state it's ruling 310, I believe, card shuffling. At the very end of that rule, it says at competitive and professional rules enforced level tournaments, players are required to shuffle their opponent's decks after their owners have shuffled them.
I'm pulling that up now because I did not realize that.
Yep. It's at the very end.
Very end. Because the deck is presented to an opponent, should be random, and this additional shuffle. Okay, in subcultures, asking to shuffle opponent's deck would be considered out. The requirement to shuffle an opponent's deck is intended to prevent cheaters from taking advantage of these cultural norms. However, simply cutting the deck is not often sufficient to meet this requirement. Okay. I mean, by that rule, yeah,
they both messed up, but
the deck should have been shuffled.
I agree. I agree 100%. This guy was scummy for doing that. Like, I am not angry at the community for that. It's more so just this banning part. Like, everybody's calling that he should have been banned from the tournament. He should have been banned from the tournament.
Oh, he absolutely should have been 100% disqualified from this tournament. He shouldn't be banned from future competitions. There should be a list, and that list is sent out to TOs. And it's like, hey, this guy's a cheat. This guy was caught cheating in one of our events, and he was disqualified for it. Should it happen again, please report to us so we can ban him immediately from competitive play.
At most, I think he should have gotten a warning.
No,
I think he should. No, because so the warning system, there, it goes in.
Okay.
No, the warning system goes into a log.
I'm trying not to react, but I'm listening.
Okay, the warning system at these tournaments is it goes in, and if they see it again, it's not just a mistake; it's a pattern, right? Well, I guess right. This was obviously very blatant that he put it at the top. I still don't agree with just a straight ban. Just because it was presented, he wasn't trying to hide his deck from being cut or shuffled.
But again, it doesn't it doesn't matter. People are like, oh, there has to be intent for a DQ, and it's like, okay, every player's gonna lie regarding intent. They're like, oh, I messed
That's
up.
true.
This is how I shuffle it my LGS all the time. Like, you can't just it's like in football. Oh, I didn't intend to hit that guy in the helmet with my shoulder, but it happened. And guess what happens? You get fined for that. You get suspended for that. Like, this should be a similar rule where it doesn't matter if you accidentally fucked up and moved your grief to the middle of your deck because you didn't want to see it ever again in this matchup. You did it, and at minimum, that should have been an immediate match loss. At minimum.
Match, not game?
Match, yes. He should have lost the match right then and there.
I could be okay with a match loss. I would be okay with a match loss on that. To me, that's fair.
And the other thing is, how many other people was he doing it in the games he was off camera? I don't know. Maybe it's possible.
That's entirely possible. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. He went 3-3-1, so he was never on camera again because he just did too badly. So maybe I don't know I don't know. I just feel like if you do it once and you get DQ'd for it, and you're like, all right, I'll never do it again. Like, that was clearly a stupid mistake that I made. I'll do better. But if this guy's a serial cheater, and there were some other allegations going around that he was cheating at Four Seasons, which is another Italian tournament, in late 2023, he was cheating there. If this guy was cheating there, because the rumor is that in top 8, his friend was standing behind his opponent and making faces whenever the opponent would draw something, and I was like, that's something. That's an allegation.
Super bad.
obviously
Yeah.
unprovable because we don't have any camera evidence of it, like with this.
Right.
Like, how many more times did this guy do this in all 7 rounds that he played in? Because I mean, if he did, he's a bad cheater because he's just losing the game anyway.
Yeah, his record's awful.
Yeah, 3-3-1. Like, yeah,
I guess it's not terrible. Like, he's probably doing better than I would have been doing.
yes,
But
yeah, that's true. But you get what I mean. Like, how many games, how many matches does this man potentially ruin because he did this kind of shuffle?
that's true. He could have been doing it a lot more off camera. He could have been doing it this entire time. He could have been doing it at his RCQs.
His LGS.
But this is where like a lot of the discourse is going. He could have been this, is he doing this at other places? And that's where they're thinking he should be. Like, that's where I'm seeing a lot of like the fire come from in these conversations, is he could be doing this, and it's not an evident we have this here. It's a could be. Was this maybe just something that it just happened in this match only? We don't know.
I mean, by that logic, for all we know, Jose Canseco was only juicing, like, he only juiced once, and it's nebulous as to when he actually ever juiced ever again. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's, you can't be like, oh, Jose Canseco did steroids. One, like, we caught him doing steroids. I think we did caught him doing steroids. But, like let's pretend we caught Jose Canseco.
I don't know sports.
Okay, this is like, okay, peak baseball was like full of steroids, and it
Right.
did, like, the MLB was super happy about it because it brought in ratings, but then they punished everybody afterwards because steroids were ruining like competitive integrity. But like everyone was hitting home runs and throwing like 100-mile-an-hour fastballs like crazy, like, whatever. The point
Yeah.
being, eventually somebody gets caught with PEDs, and then from then on they're labeled a fucking cheater. Like the Houston Astros were doing similar to that, the allegations of the friend standing behind the guy. They were like banging on trash cans to signal what pitch was coming for their batters, and
Oh my
from
God.
like 2017 to 2019, and like that's cheating because they're stealing signs. Like, and it's not even just stealing signs from like the dugout, it's stealing signs from inside the fucking stadium. So the Astros since then have been labeled fucking cheaters. And Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds and Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa all can't be in the Hall of Fame because they're considered cheaters. So, like, sorry, that's where if you get shown to cheat, you're a cheater. You're going to be a cheater until the end of fucking time.
Yeah. I'm wondering if the head judge wanted to just avoid, because this guy won round 1
Yes.
against Amulet Titan. I'm wondering if that had something to do with the head judge's result too.
I see, and you say I see people being like, "Oh, he could be doing this, he could be doing that." I see people more upset with the head judge than anything, saying like, "Are you insane? What are you talking about? How is this not an immediate DQ?" And like, I agree with all of them.
It would be nice if, because it's on Twitter, right? The
Yep.
head judge's decision, but it would be nice if they gave explanation as to why they picked it, because this is a hot topic right now, right? I would love to know that head judge's reasoning for why. Like, is it because, well, there's not enough proof there, or, oh no, I saw that top card move because it wasn't streamed to me, it was actually locally recorded, right?
Maybe there's different, or maybe there's less artifacting with a local recording that shows that the top card moved. Anything other than just being like, our head judge says there was no cheating, and it's like, okay, how? Because we're like, I'm looking at it. I have, there's multiple ex-pros in the comments and the quote tweets being like, what are you looking at? Like, there was one person who's like, I slowed it down to like 0.25 speed, and I think I saw the top card move. And it's like, okay, so you think you saw it move, but like, I think I saw it move if you go to like VAR or NFL replay, it's like, I think I saw it, but it's like, okay, well, that's not enough evidence to overturn. We have decreed that this is fucking cheating. Court of public
Yeah,
opinion has decreed this is cheating. So, like, you need to find something that proves it's not cheating,
I think
because
it did move.
I don't think it moved at all. I watched very
Hold
carefully
on,
for that card to move, and you're gonna watch
hold
it,
on.
and I'm depending on how I feel tomorrow as I edit, I will throw that clip up. But like, and at the very least, it will be in the show notes if you haven't seen it before. But that
Yeah,
card does not move. So,
I think it does. Hold on.
Bill's getting excited. He thinks it moves.
I think it does. Hold on.
I don't
I'm
know.
gonna switch. Well, I don't know how to do this without totally messing up the face stuff.
It's fine.
It's at time marker 32
Time marker
in
32.
in the clip. Here, let me
Okay.
send you the. You have the clip already, though, right?
I have I've seen the clip. It's on Reddit, but it will also
I know.
again be in the show notes for everybody.
I'm just pushing it to you so it's faster.
That's fine.
So if you're at half speed, start at about 29 when he picks up the deck at
All
29
right.
seconds.
I'm opening the clip.
Mm-hmm. And like you have to make it full screen.
All right. So let's go to 0.25 speed. You said 29 seconds. All right.
Yeah, so it won't be the first shuffle, it'll be the second.
All right. So there goes the Godless Shrine.
Yep.
Now he's stacking his cards in a way so he can easily shuffle.
Mm-hmm. It's
Staring
not the
at
first
grief.
one.
It's definitely not the
second.
first one. It's very obviously not the first one.
Yeah.
That one goes like 4 or 5 cards down. Ooh.
The way it falls,
Actually,
the way it falls, that I think he puts that stack on top of the grief.
it's close.
It's like 3 cards that go on top of the grief,
he
which
pushes down the back, and then it's. I'll say
it's
this:
really
it's
close.
really close. It's really tough to tell.
I think it happened. I think it did get randomized on at least those top 4 cards.
I mean, if that's the case, I want like where like the judge should be coming in, like we should be seeing like here is where I see the top card move.
Yeah.
If you do that, fine. Everything's done. We're all good. Well, actually, we might not be good. The people in chat were losing their fucking minds. Like after they said, "Hey, the ruling is that there is no cheating," somebody just could not let it fucking go, and they eventually got timed out.
Yeah.
It was like, you guys I get it.
Yeah.
I get being upset, but like, fuck, shut up.
Yeah, like that's the thing too, right? Like, yeah, refs are going to make bad calls even in football and stuff, but like what they call is what they call. Like it stands.
Yeah. The head judge ruled, like, and that's what they say at the beginning of these tournaments. The head judge has final say.
Right. So it would be nice though, because this is such a hot topic right now, for the judge to say why. Based off of what I see there, slowing it down like that to half seconds and watching that second cut, it does look like he shuffles the grief under a couple other cards.
It's very close.
It's very close.
It's possible, but at full speed, it looks like that grief never moved.
Yeah. Oh yeah, at full speed, it's bad. It looks terrible. He should have just never touched it.
He never should have touched it. I'm pretty sure what he was trying to do, because somebody else pointed this out, is that when he pulled the grief out and moved it, it was next to another grief. So he took it out, put it onto the stack, and put it into the stack. And then when he got back to it, it turns out it was next to another grief. So he just put it at the top to split his griefs up. Which like, even with the shuffle, you still like are knowingly attempting to further randomize your deck in a way that gives you an advantage, so that way you don't draw dead. Like that's like a step below
that's bad.
mana weaving.
Yeah. Yep, that's pretty bad. I feel like I have to agree with the head judge here, though.
I still believe that taking the card, putting it on top. Even if the shuffle randomizes everything, you've moved the card from its original position without moving any other card in the deck.
Yeah.
To me, you have cheated. And at minimum should have immediately received a match loss. Now, of course, he goes on to lose that match, so ultimately does not matter, but
Yeah.
minimum match loss. And like a heavy warning for the rest of the tournament, like don't fucking do this shit again or you're done.
Yeah, I definitely agree. He should have been given a warning, because you're right, that is close to the mana weaving stuff. Like, don't move your cards like that, right?
Yeah.
Or
If you're going to shuffle,
shuffle it. Like,
you're going to shuffle, actually shuffle.
Yeah.
As I demonstrate how I shuffle.
I take two halves and I like corner them and furl them down.
I would kill you.
All right. I agree with that, Judge. I think it's very close, and slowing it down kind of makes me believe that the top did get shuffled. It was not shuffled great.
No. Because I don't know if the grief ever moves again from that spot.
Yeah, I don't know either. Kind of looking at it.
Today I learned that I actually should be shuffling my opponent's deck at Comp REL events.
Oh yes, you should 100%. I do it at Friday Night Magic just so I have the habit.
Oh, I do a lot of just tap the deck at FNM.
Oh, I hate you. I hate those people.
Why? It's FNM.
Why?
It's FNM, and like the people I play are not fucking cheaters. I can tell you that.
No, I know that, but like when I'm shuffling, I get so scared that I didn't get like the tops and bottoms shuffled enough that I want that actual cut at a minimum.
It's fine.
So like I will actually also, before I hand it over to the opponent, I will also cut it myself as well. Just because it's like I just want to really make sure.
Sure.
But yeah, you should always comp REL. Shuffle your opponent's shit.
Well, now I know.
Yep. Anything else on the cheater pumpkin eater?
No, nothing on that guy, but this is a dreadful hand. This is 5 lands, a Ragavan, and a Bobble.
Dang.
That's terrible. Yes, I'm shuffling my Murktide deck because I've been Murktide pilled.
Oh, Murktide's getting you frisky word again?
Yeah, I got Murktide pilled from watching Arne Huschenbeth at Ghent, and how clean his play was all day.
The only one I really got to see today, I'm trying to also find the Ghent tracker. Ugh. Where is my stuff? The only one I got to listen to was when he was his last match for the day, I believe.
Oh, against Breach? Yeah, that was rough.
That wasn't it then.
Oh, then he was against. Oh God, what was he against? But yeah, he wound up losing his match to Breach, which was sad because like he was playing so well, and I feel I recognized when like he specifically tapped in a certain way that made me just be like, yeah, you're probably gonna lose this one just tapping like this, and I was right.
Yeah, it was at 10:30 this morning for us.
Oh no, that was they were going until like 3:00.
What?
Yeah,
I thought they were.
No, 9 rounds of Swiss today.
What round was that then at 10:30 this morning?
That's likely the one against Yawgmoth. That's it was likely against Alex Teague on Yawgmoth.
Yes, it was the Yawgmoth round.
Yes, it was, which was like that's some of the cleanest Murktide play I've ever seen playing against Yawgmoth.
He was so patient.
That is one of your worst matchups, and he's just playing it so patient. And Alex Teague is playing so scared because it's just like if I throw a haymaker and he just has the counterspell for it, I'm done. And like he's successfully outbluffed him several times during that entire match.
Oh yeah, because they both bluffed each other, right? Like the Yawgmoth guy was like bluffing that he had something in hand, right? I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the
And
way he was like sacking and tapping for other lands. Yeah,
yeah, and he got he got very desperate, sacked a nurturing peatland, and it was like, oh, you're making this play? That's weird. It just felt like Alex Teague, and Alex Teague is it's like a way better player than I am. But it felt like Alex Teague was just like somewhat intimidated by the whole matchup for some reason, when it's just like, this is one of your best matchups. And I know, like,
yeah,
the main deck, you look at the main deck, it's like 2 subtlety, 2 stern scolding, 4 counterspell. Like, there's 8 ways to deal with, Yogg or Grist or like anything else that really would hit the table, and then the spell
yeah,
pierce, of course. But like, I know you don't want to get like blown out, but like, you
yeah,
kind of got to move at some point, and because Murktide can just outweight you and just be like, all right, here's an 8/8, have fun.
yeah. Do we have a actual breakdown? Oh, we do have a metagame breakdown here.
Yeah, you can go to the LEC Twitter and find it.
I was just looking at the archetype breakdown on the melee page.
Oh, I mean, you can do that too. But
Yeah,
yeah, there's a graphic on the LEC Twitter.
interesting. Breakdown looks like percent of the field is most is Teamer Rhinos at
15.2%.
okay. Then there's a Rakdos Grief is next at 15, Yawgmoth at 11, Murktide at 8.5, Amulet at about 8. Then we start trailing off to Hardened Scales at 5, Living End at 4, and then four colors around 3.
Oh,
And then
yeah. So what I'm finding is it goes Team of Rhinos at 15.2, Rakdos at 14.9, Yogg at 11.6, Murktide at 8.6, Amulet Titan 8.1, Hardened Scales at 5.3, Living End at 5.0, Hammer at 3.3, Four Color Omnath at 2.8, Domain Zoo at 2.8, and then Mono Green Sean at 2.7. And there's a bunch of decks afterwards, but I'm not going to get into the whole thing. But like, that's pretty diverse. Pretty diverse.
Very diverse. Format seems like it's in a healthy spot.
Except for the fact that Rhinos exists and is the number one deck in the format, or at least the number one played deck in the format.
They're the number one played deck. Match win percentage is 52.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see conversion rates. They haven't published conversion rates, and we likely won't see conversion rates to day 2 until tomorrow when they start, which is fine. So I'm going to be interested to see like who makes what. You're losing your mind over something.
Yeah, match win percentages for this tournament are just nuts. There's one Belcher player.
Nice, we love that.
With a 66.66 match win percent, record 6-3.
Yep, just made day 2.
Yeah, yep. That just blew my mind that Belcher was there.
Any deck can high roll. There are so many decks that can high roll to their way to like a day 2.
Also, the one deck that I'm really interested in, kind of want to play myself, is that Mono White Martyr.
Yeah, Murktide
that you brought up.
Crushed that.
Yeah, but that is such a cool looking deck.
Yeah, being able to play a bunch of white weenies and then the One Ring, and you're just like, I just gain infinite life, so I really don't care what you do. Except for Murktide's like, I care what you do, so we're just not going to allow that shit.
We're not going to let you do your thing. It looks like, so the best one looks like Azorius Hammer. They have a match win percent of around 72.22.
I hate Azorius Hammer. Like, I get why you play that archetype, why you play that version. You add the spell pierce in, but I hate that. Just play mono white.
Between the two decks, the record is 13-5.
Yeah, so that tells me like it's 2 people playing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they both likely made day 2, I'm guessing.
I don't know. The archetype breakdown doesn't let me kind of like click to see the players.
Okay. So yeah, I don't know. I don't have much else to say with the archetype breakdown. I'm just more interested to see like what happens with day 2 than anything. Our only undefeated player is on Yawgmoth.
Yep.
We have, well, actually, that's not true. Our only player with 9 wins is on Yawgmoth. Our 2
Willie.
undefeated players are on Yawgmoth and Jeskai Breach.
Yep. Yep.
And
Arnie.
yeah, Arnie is third in standings on Murktide, which, like, let's go.
Yeah.
Um,
Third to 16th place is all 8-1.
yep. But I mean, like, anybody who's like 7-1, 7-2 can easily, like, there. Oh my God, we have a lot. 7-2
Oh
doesn't
yeah.
end until 75th. So, like, even if you're somebody who is like 7-2 right now, you still have, there's still plenty of real estate to go. You still have, I think there's 6 more rounds tomorrow before cut to top 8.
So how does this work? Does it so to make it to day 2 they had to get 7-2?
No, 6-3. No, sorry,
Oh,
6 wins. So 18 points.
6 wins, 18 points. Okay. Wow. Okay. Wow. So 8 that goes on for a while.
It does. Yeah, we're
That's
talking. There's probably going to be about 200 people, maybe more, at 6.
222 people.
200.
Page 9.
Yeah, 222. Yep. So yeah, there's 6 more rounds. And I mean, obviously, like, if you go 6-0, even as like a 6-2 player, or as like a 6-2-1 player, or as a 6-3 player, there's still the possibility you can get to top 8. But, like, the
Yeah.
true cutoff is top 24. Top 24 gets their invites to the PT. Is it? It might be Thunder. No, Thunder Junction is separate. I think this would be PT Amsterdam. I think, I don't know for sure, but yeah. So top 24 gets
Thunder Junction's going to be at MagicCon, right?
no. Thunder
No.
Junction is its own separate PT that's going to have its own invite system. I don't know how it's going to work, but that's what they're doing. But
Weird.
yeah, so the top 24 of this tournament will go to whatever. I'm guessing
The next one
Amsterdam.
is.
The net, and then top 8 will fight it out for fabulous cash prizes.
Okay. And then so the way they do it, like, it's overall, right? Like, between the 2 days, what your overall
Yes.
score is. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, because like, yeah, you were saying to, like, makes it to day 2, you need 18 points, and I'm just like thinking, okay, like, some of these people that have 18 points, is it even mathematically possible for them to get to top 24?
I mean, yeah, like, there is the possibility that the top, people with the 8-1 records and the 7-2 records, like, they
Start
they
dropping.
they falter, and, like, you're able to rise up through that. But, like, is it possible? Yes. Is it likely? No. But so, like,
Got it.
it's likely our top 24 now will
Mhm.
roughly be that top 24 that ends the day. Like, uh, our 8-1s are real. It's gonna be really tough for them to drop out, because it's 6 more rounds, which is 8. Well, actually, that's 6 more rounds is 18 more points. So
Yeah.
mathematically, for somebody to up to 18 more points. So, like, that means the cutoff has to be 36. And the second you get above 36, you're likely chilling, and it's likely the cutoff is going to be closer to 40 points than anything to get there.
Okay.
Because what?
Got
There's
it.
15 rounds, 45. Okay, I lied. So it might not be 45 points. It might be 40 points. I might be right with 40 points to get to top 8, and then maybe 38 points to get to top 24.
Okay.
But I don't know for sure.
Yeah. It's modern though. The field seems pretty standard, except for that martyr one, and just
Yeah. And
Belcher doing better than expected.
yeah, and Martyr is 45th, I believe. Oh, I saw them at 45th. I think they've fallen off a bit since.
They went 6-3, so they made it to day 2.
They went 6-3. Damn, that sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what their last couple things were. Also, Demir Death Shadow, putting up numbers too. Match win percent's 56%, 57.
Yeah, it seems decent in this meta.
I'm just obsessed with this archetype right now.
Yeah,
That's
that's
why
fair.
I'm like interested.
The archetype kind of feels weak to Prismatic Ending and Fatal Push, and having not seen, there's not a ton of blue-white control out in the field currently. Um, Scam obviously runs like Fatal Push, but like Yawgmoth doesn't. So like you can just like for the most part stick like a 6/6 Death Shadow and just be like, have fun, deal with this guy.
Yeah, I think your biggest thing to watch out for is like, excuse me, the dismembers, right? Like
Yeah,
that's probably your biggest issue if you do your guy too early. But also, like a lot of them are running the Murktides too,
yeah.
and they have this a similar plan of stall, 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 then deal with my big shit.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of how you want to like having seen Arna Hushenbeth play. I think I'm saying that name right. Play Murktide,
Arnie,
and just it's like
yeah,
seeing how patient he is. Like that makes me reconsider the way I've been playing because a lot of times I kind of just jam and then proceed to lose. So, but seeing him be like, I don't have to jam. I really don't have to do shit. I'll just sit here and let you make mistakes.
yeah, yeah. That's I'm starting to get the feel for stuff like that. Doing the weekly modern, so it's like I could see that
Yeah.
perspective.
Something else I want to talk about from Ghent is their last chance qualifier. So we lamented
Oh,
for
right.
the Atlanta RC that there were 31, 32 last chance qualifier events that fired on Friday at random times. Instead, what happened at Ghent was they streamed a giant last chance qualifier tournament of roughly 400 players.
Yeah,
And the top 16 of that tournament would go on to play in day one today. I don't know who came from that LCQ and if anybody's qualified for day two from that LCQ. I'm sure there is. I'm sure somebody qualified for day. It's like they're going to be like the
yeah.
big story from that. From that is like, hey, cool. Like, look at our cool tournament system. But
But they have a
yeah,
story.
yeah, they have a story, which is the whole point of paper coverage is to develop stories. But I want tournaments in the US that have last chance qualifiers to adopt this. I want the Denver RC, although it's probably too late for that. I want the Denver RC to have a big tournament on day one and be like, yeah, the top 16 of this tournament goes to the main event. And we're not running 9 million flights. It's just the last chance qualifier tournament starts at 9 a.m. and we'll run 9 rounds, and the top 16 after that will go. Now, of course, there was a lot of 7-2s. So a lot of people did not make it off of breakers, which is wild.
Ooh. Yeah, that's awful.
Which is how One Piece does it, and that's insane. And yeah, so it's not a perfect system. No, don't get me wrong, it's not a perfect system, but like 400 players and a bunch of people at 7-2, it's not great.
Yeah, it's not. I. It is nice though that they got it all done at one time,
Mm-hmm.
and that they had coverage, because I
Mm-hmm.
sat here and watched it all day. Yes, well, till they stopped it.
Yeah,
I watched I watched it on Friday. It was
yeah,
fantastic to be
yeah.
able to
Watch it
just sit
during
there and
work.
watch. Yeah,
Yeah, it was
it
great.
gave me something to do because I was not going to be able to watch this weekend.
Yeah. So yeah, like I want something like that. Like we could definitely get something like that where we are just like, the tournament organizers like, yeah, let's stream this big, like let's just have big Swiss rounds like every day and have fun, and just showcase like
Yeah,
some weirdo decks. I just put like some
yeah,
weirdo decks on coverage. Like they put up a they put up a game that like neither player could actually qualify for the LCQ or for like the actual RC, but like they're like, yeah, these guys are 5-1-1, or like 5-1-2 or something like that. And it's like they can't qualify, but like their decks are cool, so we asked them to be on coverage, and they're like, yeah, fuck it.
What decks were they playing? Do you
I
know?
can't remember, but it was something weird, and it was like, oh, this is great. This I have no idea what's happening right now. No one no one on coverage knew what the fuck the decks were. They're just like, I've never seen these, and they're doing great. Like there was
What
still
are these cards?
there's still like five. It's still 5 wins in a 9 round tournament. They're not scrubs by any means, but it's like these people weren't
Right.
making it. But it was cool. It was a cool thing, and I wanted
Yeah.
to continue.
Yeah, I like that. You and I think, watched together. Well, not together, but like, at the same time.
Yes.
A Murktide Orzhov Death and Taxes match.
Yeah, the Death and Taxes guy
That,
didn't win.
but they fought
They tried.
hard.
They tried.
Yeah,
They didn't make it.
yeah, it was his winning in, I think, right?
Yeah, it was they were both 6-2 at the time. So yeah, it was I believe they were like, yep, if through breakers, these guys will make one of these guys will make it, the other will definitely not. It was a true win it in, and I'm like, I want obviously I automatically root for the Murktide players, but it's like, but Orzhov Death and Taxes, man, like I gotta
That's
have
just something
this.
that's something you haven't seen in Modern in a long time.
No, and I mean you can kind of see why that kind of just like dead draws after a
It
bit.
does, yeah.
It just kind of runs out of steam. It really can't get there. So it sucks, and I wish they would have won, but it happens.
I wanted to see them win. I wanted to see the underdog.
Nah, fuck that.
Yeah.
Give me Murktide, full Murktide top 8. Let's go.
Gotcha. But yeah, I agree. I like that kind of one big boy event to rule them all, and tons of coverage for it.
Mhm.
It's fantastic. Anything else related to that qualifier? Like, we don't want to kind of dig into that too much.
No, the big stuff obviously is coming tomorrow. So very excited about that with day 2, seeing just who wins. I love seeing big modern tournaments. Big modern tournaments are always fun.
Yeah. Uh, just some quick stats from that last chance qualifier. Rhinos again, Evoke, Yawgmoth, Murktide, Titan. Yeah. Most played card was Beseju.
Uh,
Number
that's
one.
not true.
It says
It's Orcish Bowmasters, then it's Beseju, then it's Ragavan.
well, mtgdex.net is lying to
MT,
me then.
yeah, they're not doing it right, because these are directly the stats from like Frank Karsten, who like
Does the thing.
who did the thing, like pages through, fixes he fixed deck names in Melee, so that way people had the correct deck name, so so everyone's archetype was correct. So like,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, I lied. I'm sorry. It goes top 5 in terms of play: Orcish Bowmasters, Misty Rainforest, Ragavan Nimble Pilferer, Beseju Who Endures, Forest. Those are the top 5 cards, top 5 played cards at RC Ghent.
That's fantastic. Forest. Oh man. Talking about all this tournament stuff kind of makes me want to talk about our Fortnite and Magic.
Yeah.
So let's kind of break into that, Dan. You said there was some local drama going on around the 1P community.
Okay, so One Piece community. You can skip forward like 2-3 minutes, but I actually think this is like relatively important for everybody in card games, because this affects everybody in card games ultimately. So 2 things. Go to play One Piece on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
I just lost round 1 to a good buddy of mine who's like our store's best player. It's like, yeah, it sucks. I played against bad matchup. Go to play against another bad matchup. I'm like, this sucks. But also the guy was very inexperienced on the matchup. But I should not have won. Like, the matchup is, I have a 15% win percentage, and I should lose that like all the fucking time if you know what you're slightly doing, and he just didn't know what he was doing. So that's fine.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, like, we're in the middle of the game, and all of a sudden, I just hear like some guy bitching about the leader Whitebeard, and I look over, and it's the same guy. And I don't remember if I said this or not. I was playing the leader Whitebeard and his corresponding deck like 2 months ago, and I
Mm-hmm.
played this guy, and it's the same guy. And I beat him, and he's like, man, I don't have any respect for Whitebeard players, blah, 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 and just kind of go off. I'm like, I offer him the fist bump because, like, he's good sportsmanship. He's like, man, I don't even
Yeah.
want to fist bump you because you're playing that deck. And
What?
I'm like, okay, cool. He apparently then went outside and bitched as he was smoking. And, like, we didn't see him again for several, like, we didn't see him again until, like, this week. So, like,
Yeah.
apparently it was his friend playing against the Whitebeard player. Mind you, his friend was playing against the Whitebeard player. He wasn't even playing against him, and he's still, like, his friend loses. And so he
Yeah.
looks over, he still bitches about the fucking leader. And we're just like,
What?
I've never seen that before in my life. I've never seen that. Where someone is just so, like, you're not even, like, I've never seen someone be salty about a game they're not even playing.
That's a little ridiculous.
Like, I get it if you're like, if you played the game, but, like, shut the fuck up if you're not playing in the game. Just shut
Is it
up.
called White? Is it called Whitebeard
Edward
Pirates?
Newgate, but
Okay.
he's colloquially known as Whitebeard in the One Piece universe. So we just
Is
call the deck Whitebeard.
he okay?
OPO two.
OPO4.
OPO. The leader's from OPO 2, but we're currently in the OPO 5 meta. Because he got the leader got banned in OPO 4 because of how good he was. So, like, obviously that guy's PTSD from, like, OPO 2, 3, and 4 carried over to now. But, like, Whitebeard is like a tier 2 deck currently. It's like if somebody saw me playing Murktide and just me having, like, all the answers to somebody's shit. I'm not even playing them, and they're just looking over and be like, I fucking hate Murktide so goddamn much. They always get everything they need. I was like, bro, are you even playing this game? Shut up.
It doesn't even seem like that good of a card. Like it's like
Whitebeard?
yeah, I don't know. I just also don't know One Piece,
No,
but
that's
it's
fair.
like it's got one line of text on it saying you may draw one card from your life text deck
So
or
it's
something.
essentially like for the first 6 turns of the game, or up to the first 6 turns of the game, you're drawing 2 cards per turn.
Oh, that's
Which
pretty good.
you wind up having, like, a hand size of at least 10 in the end game constantly. Which is really good because, like, that helps you defend.
Yeah.
You also up in the top right, you see the number 6,000. Most leaders are actually a power of 5,000. So him having an additional 1K in power is very relevant because that means there's no free leader swings from anybody else, which is like remarkably relevant for the game. So, like, that happens, and like,
Okay.
he leaves to go do something, and he comes back and he plays out the rest of the thing, and but, like, I walk over to the guy, like, after my game's over, I'm like, what the fuck was that? And I was like, I've literally never seen anybody complain about a game they weren't even playing. I've never seen that. That's wild. So that happened.
That's crazy.
Then I go to this other LGS that runs, like, Friday night One Piece. I'm like, cool. I'm gonna play some Friday night One Piece. Also, this is potentially where I lost that deck box with it's, like, full of a bunch of extra cards that go into, like, that I can, like, quickly move into a new deck. So I'm very
Oh
upset.
no.
I have to ask the LGS if somebody turned that in. Otherwise, the fucking cards are stolen. I can't prove that somebody stole them, but they're gone. Like, I cannot find this deck box anywhere in my house. It's like, it's not my house. It's not my backpack. But the wild thing is, in my backpack, I had 4 deck boxes. I had my regular
Yeah.
deck box, and I had these 3, as well as the other one. This is the deck box that contains the most valuable cards in it. This is the deck box that contains the second most valuable cards in it. And it's like, why are you just grabbing that deck box when, like, this deck is probably like $300 right now? Like, what are you doing?
I mean, can you see what's in that deck box?
If you opened it up,
Just
yes.
by quickly. Well, right, but the other one was clear.
The other one was clear, but it had empty sleeves in the front, and every card in there was sleeved. So, like, you couldn't tell what the back was, and there were sleeves in the front, so you can't tell what's in there in the first place. So,
Got it.
but that's a different story. I have to call the LGS tomorrow, and be like, "Hey, did somebody turn this in?" But
Yeah.
so I go there, and they have the new set, which is OPO5,
Hmm.
and mind you, MSRP for the OPO5 box is $105. In fact, every booster box of One Piece is worth $105 according to MSRP. Would you like to take a guess how much they were selling it for?
600?
Oh no, not that egregious.
No. You said it was 105?
105 for MSRP.
That probably 175 then?
$300.
Ooh, boy,
Yeah,
that's a lot.
and it's because there's two cards in there that can be worth up to like $2,000, and maybe the manga Luffy is like closer to $3,000 at this point. I haven't checked in a while, but
Yeah.
it's because there's so many chase rares that they're just like, well, we want to make our money on this, so we're gonna just have the product. And it's just like, why are you selling it at like markup prices? Like
Yeah,
I
3
bought
times markup.
Yeah, like I bought a box from my other LGS for like 140. And I'm like, that's fine. Like
Yeah.
like the $35 is going to like actually support this. Like fine. I'm fine with that. Fucking $300? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah, like the so like I saw some similar drama on TikTok related to the new sets prices. The Markov
Markov
Manor.
Manor?
Yeah, that one. The murder one. Uh Basically in the opposite direction though, that the featured store on TCG Player for the pre-sales was selling at a discount.
Oh yeah, 129.99.
Hmm. Yeah, and she was saying that's about what I get my boxes at from the distributor, and it's like, oh,
Yeah, that's not good. That there's So obviously TCG Player got some preferential treatment, which is not great.
no, it wasn't TCG Player because it was a featured seller.
Oh, it
So
was a
that
featured
seller,
seller. Oh, I thought it was just because TCG Player
no,
was promoting it. I got an email from TCG Player
it
saying,
was a
"Hey,
featured seller.
ew,
Yeah,
ew,
it's probably a distributor is getting preferential prices
ugh,"
or is less scummy than the other distributors.
or that.
Like we don't know how this all works behind the scenes other
Right.
than you know I think there's like 6 distributors in total that Magic works with throughout the United States.
Sure,
I think.
I'll take your word
uh
for it.
yeah, that's about it. Like that's all the more we know. The distributors get product from WotC and they get an allotment of a certain amount, and that's why certain things are expensive. That's why things come out in waves, because whenever an allotment gets ended they can do stuff. But yeah,
Right.
key thing is price fixing's bad.
Yeah. Again, if you're an LGS and if you were going to charge me 150 for the box, I would have bought it. I would 100% bought that box at 150. You
Yeah,
can't charge 3 times MSRP. You can't. I'm sorry.
no.
You just can't do that.
Mm-mm. No, yeah, and that's the thing too. It's like I understand you are a business and you have things that you need to do to stay in business, but there's a difference between staying in business and just charging an outrageous amount of money.
Yeah, because I'm in their Discord, and let me see what they actually wrote about this. 'Cause I have to find. So bear with me as I try to find this, because I don't know, man. It was just like I can't believe I saw that and was just like, okay, uh, was able to get OPO5, but at a steep cost. We will be using it. We will be using it help help prize our tournaments. We will have packs for purchase at a later date. There's a small third wave of printing coming mid month. But like, why? So are you telling me that? So then that tells me that the distributor is the one who's like, hey, the prices are this
Jacking the
now.
prices.
So now they
Yeah.
have to. Now the LGS gets to be the front facing client, being like, hey, we're price gouging. So like, there's something going on here, and I don't
Yeah.
like it for OPO5. And I don't really like it for One Piece. I think this is going to be One Piece's big problem. even though apparently Bandai said they're they're going to reprint cards from old sets. They didn't say they were reprinting old sets. They really didn't say anything. They were just like, hey, we're just reprinting these cards. It's like, cool. How? That's what matters. Because like prices are insane right now. We need prices to go down. Hopefully they'll go down after Nationals, which is this weekend in the US, and then we'll see from there. But
Oh man, so you got 2 big tournaments to follow this weekend?
like
Oh,
again,
that's right.
they're not
They
streaming
don't
it.
do coverage. They don't do coverage.
But you
Yeah.
know who did do coverage? Fucking the European Nationals last weekend. So I watched that. And I'm like, this is great. Boy, I sure wish this happened in the US. This is amazing. I love this.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so there's a whole thing on the One Piece. It's not being cared for enough. It's not being nurtured enough currently by Bandai to
Yeah.
actually succeed, because currently it just feels like prices are so out of control for like, if you're trying to build a deck now and you don't have cards from like the first or second or third set, which is actually another reason why I'm so fucking upset, because like there's one card that goes into this deck later that is like $50, but in the
Yeah.
current iteration of the build, you only run 3 of them, and the 4th one was chilling in that box.
Oof.
So yeah, very very excited to find that card gone forever. Oh, and then another card went from like, I got another card for like $6 and it skyrocketed to 13, and it's like, well, there was 2 of those in that box too, so fuck.
Damn.
So I'm really hoping like the people at the store aren't complete fucking scumbags. I'm really hoping. I'm like really crossing my fingers for this.
Ugh, yeah. That sucks. I don't think I've ever lost a deck box. I also try to minimize what I carry with me though, too.
Yeah, and that's my fault. Like that, I
Yeah.
shouldn't have put myself in that position in the first place, but
Yeah.
I did, and like it's it's
It's
ultimately going to be my fault that the box got lost. But unless someone stole it, in which case, fuck that person.
yeah. It's gonna be so rough at Chicago for me, because I'm used to only carrying like 1 or 2 decks in my bag, and my trade binder. And it's like, oh man, but if I drop out of like some, my main event, there's a bunch of other events going on.
The
Like,
hotel's only like 15 minutes away via train.
yeah,
So that's not
still
bad.
though, it's not bad, but it's like then I have to leave.
True. We'll figure it
Yeah,
out. We'll figure out something.
yeah, yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited for that. I still need to figure out my deck though for the standard open.
Okay, but Fortnite Magic. We were talking about
Oh
Fortnite
right,
One Piece, but like those, this the guy freaking the fuck out was
yeah,
crazy. That's crazy. So,
yeah.
I played in 3 modern events over the fortnight. I played Scam in all 3 of them. 2 were essentially F&Ms. 1 was supposed to be a cash tournament, but it only fired like 6 people. So I'm like, fuck
Oof.
yeah, 6 people. I got paired in a weird bracket, but so the first modern night, I got a round 1 bye because my opponent forgot their deck at home. Which like, how is that possible? Like you're setting up to go to the store and you forget your deck at home. Like, okay,
Did you? How do?
I don't know. But also, like, there was going to be a big prize of Fable of the Mirror Breakers, like a playset of Fable of the Mirror
Oh
Breakers,
yeah.
and I'm like, oh fuck yeah, I want an extra playset that I can sell online for like $100. For the playset, not for each. So they're like 25 a piece.
Is it? I was gonna say, is the playset up to that much already?
Yes, Fable is
Whew.
Fable is a multi-format all star.
Yeah, it
It
is.
goes in every red mid range deck except for Murktide, and I see it
Legacy.
actually sometimes in the sideboard of Murktide. But regardless, so round 2, I play against Teamer Asmo, and I'm like, boy,
What?
yeah, I'm like, boy, I have no idea how to play against this deck. Let's just find out. Fuck it, I'm on Scam. My deck's powerful. Lose game 1 despite being on the dice, despite winning the die roll being on the play. Lose game 1, even with a grease scam on turn 1. Lose game 1. So Killer.
Yeah.
Game 2, I mulled a 5, and my 2 lands are Mount Doom and Takanuma, and I'm like, the fuck. Like, I love Mount Doom, and I'll talk about Mount Doom here very shortly. But so
Yeah.
I win that game, despite being on a mull to 5 that has no scam, and my land is slowly killing me. Then I win game 3, just because I grief scammed and they had nothing, and I just kept applying
Right.
pressure and they had nothing. So it's like, okay,
And
scam. Let's
yeah.
go scam.
Yay, scam.
Then, oh god, I can't remember what I played against in round 3. Round 4, I played against Murktide with Questing Druid, and boy, let me tell you, it's impossible for scam to beat. A deck that just has so much card advantage in it because it has 8 expressive iterations. I lose game 1. I'm not really sure how I could have played it differently. It was very close. It was just like, if I swing with Shieldred and it connects, like, because I left Shieldred back to block.
Yeah.
If I swing with Shieldred and it connects, they're at 1 and they can't unholy heat my Shieldred, so they just die in their next draw step.
Yeah.
And I win the game from there. But I lose that one, and then the next game I just like don't do anything, like, and they just have all the answers, and it's like, okay, that's Murktide. That's Dallas.
That's Dallas.
So I go 3-1. I still get store credit. I'm like, hooray. So go to the store for the cash tournament. 6 people, like I said, 6 people show up.
Yeah.
My round 1 opponent is Jeskai Stoneblade, and this is a person who's like, I'm coming back to Modern for the first time in like 5 years, and it's like, cool. So like they're playing Jeskai Stoneblade, I win, and it's like, cool. What a cool, fun game this was. Because like I'm just like, your
Yeah.
deck doesn't do anything. Like it really, your deck really didn't do anything. It just kind of just like sat there. And it's like, just play Murktide. Like if you're just gonna play Jeskai Stoneblade, just play Murktide. Just cut the color, play Murktide, please, please.
Yeah. Just please.
It's like, give me
Yeah.
like a real thing that matters. And then like the one Jeskai Stoneblade player in the world is gonna come out and be like, Jeskai Stoneblade's a real deck. It does real things. I swear. It doesn't.
It does real things, Dan.
It doesn't do anything. It doesn't, like, its game plan is just like, I'm throwing stuff at you and I'm hoping it works. Like, it's like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Round 2, I play against Tron. I scam him on turn 1 and still lose. So I lost that matchup 2-0. It's the normal Tron player I played like multiple times. He's a cool guy.
Yeah.
Round 3, I play against fucking Wilderness Reclamation combo, which, if you're unaware of it's Temur Wilderness Reclamation combo. And essentially what they do is they just control the board state until they resolve a Wilderness Reclamation, and then they go, okay, I have all my mana untapped, or I have all my lands untapped. In my end step, I'm going to, in response to the Wilderness Reclamation trigger, tap all my lands to float all the mana, untap Nexus of Fate. And I'm just going to do that a lot. And I'm like, I fucking just hate extra turn spells. Like, I just don't think a single one should be legal in any 60 card format at all. Especially
Yeah.
ones that operate at instant fucking speed. Like, I know it's 7 mana to play Nexus of Fate, but like, how do you stop that? How do you stop that? You don't. Because it's like, hey, like, as Murktide, I could stop it. I could do something there. But like, this game, it's like, okay, I can't discard the Nexus of Fate because it's just going to get shuffled right back into the fucking library. So I have to hope that I hit the Wilderness Reclamation. Oh, didn't hit the Wilderness Reclamation. It's on the battlefield. Oh, they resolved another one, so they can float 3 times as much mana now. And it's like, I fucking hate this. I hate this. Like,
I guess the only thing that would stop it could be the what is it? Leyline of the Void?
that's true.
Like,
I've never seen Wilderness Reclamation combo in the wild, so I was just like, I'm not siding in Leyline. They also don't have like, I'm not playing Leyline to just stop one fucking card.
That's
like,
that's the other thing. Yeah, you don't do that. Yeah,
like I could see people being like I see people complaining about like, oh, you don't play Leyline against Murktide. It's like, I understand that, but also like, boy, it shuts off Murktide and DRC, huh? Like it just says fuck you to both
Hey,
those cards.
it's a pretty good
It's a
pretty
pretty
good
good
card
card against
against this
those.
deck.
But it's like
Yeah,
I'm not trying to shut down Nexus of Fate with just fucking Leyline of the Void. Like it's so dumb.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I got salty about Nexus of Fate existing. Again, instant speed extra turn spell should be banned in every format. Every format. It's like Violent Outburst. That should be
Yeah.
banned, likely. But this is what I was talking about also when I was like, yeah, Scam's not the best deck, so therefore there's shit lurking below the surface. And it's like, Wilderness Reclamation combo likely needs a lot more help to become like a relevant deck, but like, boy, Nexus of Fate seems like mega fucking stupid.
Yeah. It seems pretty bad, Dan.
Yeah. So Wednesday, the following Wednesday, it's another night, it's another scam adventure. Round one, I play against nobody. I get the bye, but the Amato Bluetron player shows up late, so I'm like, I'll fucking play you. Beat him 2-0, and then we play like two more games in between that. I 3-1'd him. Like he was just able to Bluetron me on like in like the third game, and it's like whatever.
Yeah.
We were exiting the fourth game because time in the round had been called. Pairings were up for the second round. I had a shark typhoon on the battlefield thanks to Dothy Voidwalker and Thoughtseize. So, I was slowly gathering sharks. I was not going to lose that game. I went like Dothy Voidwalker, not dead after all, sacrifice Dothy Voidwalker, get the thing. Good
Yeah.
beloved combo. Love it. Round two, I play against Yawgmoth. Now, Yawgmoth is actually supposed to be a very bad matchup for Scam, considering that Fury is gone. I played this man 5 games in a row. Would you like to guess my win percentage in those 5 games?
4-1?
5-0. I never, I didn't lose a single fucking game against Yawgmoth, against this particular Yawgmoth player.
Is he new to Yogg?
I just fucking I just had the nuts every time. Like I grief scammed him 3 times. 2 times I wasn't even fucking trying. I just happened to draw the necessary card to grief scam them. Like,
crazy.
It was really funny. Like I was on the draw and I'm like, man, this hand's kind of fucking terrible. Like it's like double undying spell and like Ragavan, and it's like this is terrible, but I'm gonna keep it because like I was like, how bad of a hand can I keep against Yawgmoth and lose? And then the next card I pull off my deck is Grief, and I was like, well, this hand's great now.
Oh god.
Round 3, I play against Saheeli Felidar Guardian combo. Which is simply resolve Felidar Guardian, and then play Saheeli whenever you can. Copy the Felidar Guardian. It copies it bounces the Saheeli. Saheeli copies the Felidar Guardian. Infinitely going until you have enough Felidar Guardians to where you kill your opponent. So,
Yeah.
I felt like I was mostly in control of this game until I wasn't, and when I lost the first game. What happened was I had a flipped reflection of Kiki Jiki and an Orcish Bowmaster in play. So it's like, all right, for 1 mana, I can copy a Bowmaster, grow my token. Well, what happened was my opponent had a Teferi on the board, and I was like, okay, and it was on 1 toughness, or it was on 1 loyalty. So I'm like, all right, I'm just going to kill this Teferi in your upkeep.
Yeah.
Mistake. Because they had the Saheeli in hand. They had 2 cards in hand, and I had been like trimming their hand pretty effectively to ensure that like they couldn't get to the Saheeli combo. Well, they drew the Saheeli. Yeah. So they play the Saheeli -2. Now, if I just held the activation, I could have, in response to the activation, activated Kiki Jiki to deal 1 damage, because state-based now it will be at 0. I believe Saheeli's a 3 loyalty planeswalker. So now it would be at 0 and it would die. So that I think they were holding it for that, because like they killed my grief at one point to prevent me from doing the draw step grief thing.
Mm-hmm.
So like I fucked up there. If I was just more patient and didn't worry about a Teferi that really didn't matter, I was fine. But I fucked up, so I lost the game. Then game 2, I kept a one lander with Ragavan plus Thoughtseize, and I'm like, all right, I have relevant plays. I'm going to have like two or three draw steps to get a second land. Didn't
Yeah.
get a second land. And like if the Ragavan lives like on turn 1, like through turn 1, and I get to hit, like cool. I'm chilling.
Yeah.
Didn't happen. Ragavan
Ugh.
died immediately to like a prismatic ending, and then I Thoughtseize, and then I go through like 5 draw steps, and I'm like, yep, I'm not drawing lands. I'm done. I'm just not gonna lose my shit over this
GG.
fucking game.
Yeah.
And then round 4, I play against the Tron player, who I played on Saturday and always play. And I'm like, we have to stop meeting like this. So game 1, I win pretty fucking easily. Like it's just like a real easy win. Game 2 was a slog and a grind, and it was honestly probably the best game of Magic I've played. Not like as like from performance level, but from like the smallest mistake from like either side loses the game.
What happens next? Yeah.
Yeah, I had a Shieldred and a Bowmasters on the battlefield with him having a
Dang.
resolved One Ring, and it's like
Can't do the One Ring thing.
you can't do the One Ring thing, but he's like, but if I don't do the One Ring thing right now, I just lose anyway, so I have to just do it, and so he does it,
Yeah.
and like he's able to remove the Shieldred and he's able to remove the Bowmaster, but I have a Mount Doom in play. So I'm just like,
Dang.
and I have like a resolved reflection of Kiki Jiki. So so I'm like, okay, like I can just do like the copy Bowmaster thing in end step, ping you, and then deal 1 damage with the Mount Doom, and just slowly doing that. And eventually it gets to the point where I go like I brought in like a Bone Crusher Giant, so I go like Stomp Face, Mount Doom, and then the ring damage killed them. I'm like, holy fuck! Like it was just so close. Like they had like 3 5/5 tokens with Urza Saga. They swung with those. I blocked 2 of them, took 5, and then they just went Ensnaring Bridge. And I'm like, well, the Ensnaring Bridge helps me because I have the Shieldred, Reflection of Kikijiki, and Bowmaster. So I'm kind of good just sitting here and like
Yeah.
letting me kill you.
Yeah.
So it was a great game. I wish I was recording it. I would love to have posted that game because that would have been so cool for people to see that. But yeah,
Damn.
another 3-1 there. So in reality, what it comes down to, as I've been talking for like 20 minutes about this, but I'm still not sure how I'm supposed to play the scam deck. My overall opinion of my play is that I can't judge the power of my hands very accurately, because it feels like every time I look at a hand, there's a lot of times where I look at a hand, I'm like, seems medium, and then I play it, and it's the most fucking cracked thing I've ever played, and and it's like, okay, so this is actually a really powerful hand. I just can't believe it, and like, you know, there's the obvious like turn 1 grief hands, like those are always like those are the easiest hands to judge all the time, forever and always. But like,
Are you doing the Mengu lands and spells keep, or are you trying to be a little more picky than that?
I am doing the Mengu lands and spells keep. I mean, obviously before, like the strategy with scam was like mulligan to a scam, like
Right. It's not that anymore. It's more of a mid-rangey
yeah
thing. Yeah.
And I just so happen to get to scams. Like you can still get to it like on 6. I think like 20. I think the math is like 20% of the time you can still get to a turn 1 grief scam if you mulligan to 6. And I'm sketchy to ever mulligan like below 5 with the deck.
Mm-hmm.
But like, yeah, my problem is just like I don't feel like I accurately judge power levels of hands. I think it's the same thing with Murktide. Although I think I'm a lot more cognizant of Murktide power levels than I am scam power levels. So it just comes down to I need to continue to play scam, but also the problem is it's locals, and I don't want people to fucking beat me up outside for playing scam. So I gotta figure out a way to practice scam without people getting fucking mad at me.
Wow, play online.
Yeah, people get mad.
MTGO.
People get mad there, and they'll fucking find my IP address and then tell Joe Biden where to find me.
They'll dox you.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, you definitely have kept your New Year's resolution.
I know.
That's like 3 events in 2 weeks. It's pretty
Yeah,
crazy.
I know. I told you. I was like, hey, just wait for my store to open back up, and I'll play Modern again. Like, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So, what about you?
I've been doing a lot of standard online lately. MTGO. I'm trying to practice up for the open qualifier that we're going to, or well, that I'm going to, and you're going to be at the other thing.
Mm-hmm.
I forget the name of your.
It's the Secret Lair Showdown.
Secret Lair Showdown. That's it. So I've been practicing that online. I didn't get to go this week to the store to play Modern, but I went last week, and I took a new deck with me. I took Dimir Death Shadow, and I mainly built it because I saw somebody running Stalactite Stalker in it, and I was like, "Hey, that's pretty good," because you're constantly fetching lands and stuff. So it's gonna, it's a 1-drop you can get down fast. It's gonna stick around and potentially grow based off of things that you do, right? Because there's a bunch of other cards too that you put in there to support the stalker, like Bitter Triumph. You discard a card in order to kill something, or pay 3 life,
or you're paying,
which
3
is
life.
also or pay 3 life, which is in the shadow wheelhouse of it. So definitely seemed like a good archetype. I had a big misplay against the really good Titan player that we have. I don't know if it's like Titan it's the player that's good, or if it's just the deck is good. It's hard for me to judge. It's hard for me to judge that. Like, so far, I'm just saying that the player is really good because he just seems to account for everything that I could potentially be doing. The big misplay I had was I had a 7/7 Murktide and it was a 7/7 Murktide and a Shadow out, and he plays the One Ring, and I had a Stubby D in hand, and I forgot. Like, he kept saying as he was doing stuff with 1 mana floating, which for some reason my brain was like, oh, he's holding that for the Stubby D.
Right.
But
you forgot about Ferocious.
The Ferocious clause is what tripped me up. And if I would have just realized I had Ferocious, at the end step is when I realized it. I was like, oh, I could have done it.
Yeah.
And it would have been a 1-1, and we would have gone to game 3 instead of a 2-0 for him. But learning, it's I think my second time playing with Stubborn Denial in the deck. So
it's a good card.
In a deck, it is. Yeah, I just no experience with it, so that's why it's kind of
happens.
Yeah. And then I totally dumpstered the Murktide player. It's a 50-50 match.
It's probably more in your favor, actually.
Yeah, he had 1 land.
You just have bigger things.
I have bigger things later, but he can also counter a lot of my things.
I mean, yes, but you can counter a lot of his things. Like, I'm sure if you played, well, you said he was stuck on 1 land, so like he's not doing fucking shit.
He was stuck on 1 land, and I wasn't letting him have more than 1.
Oh, were you Tidebindering and shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you should do. If you're in a position to just like step on their neck, do it.
Oh yeah, he did a 1 land Ragavan, and like, and I had a fatal push.
Yeah, so coming from experience, don't do that. As a Murktide player, don't do that. As a scam player, you can get away with it because you run 20 to 21 lands, so you can get away with that.
Yeah.
Murktide runs like 17 to 18. Don't do that.
Yeah, he had that, and then he kept trying to like get stuff like DRCs down, and I just kept like, I was like, I'm not letting you get that surveil trigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like, I don't know, it drew out, and he eventually just died. And then I won he won I won the second game. I 2-0'd him. Like, I smoked his rear. Because like everything he had, I was just able to like fatal push it or drown in a lock. So it was good. It was fun.
Yeah, your removal lines up very nicely against Murktide. The only time it doesn't is whenever they go Drown in the Lock, or whenever they go Murktide Regent and you go Drown in the Lock, and it's like if they don't have a ton of permanents or a ton of cards in their graveyard, you can't counter it. So it just potentially can resolve.
Yeah, he had that's actually what happened in game 2. Is I had the whatchamacallit, the Drown in the Lock in hand, and he just played the Murktide, and he didn't have enough in there for me to counter it.
Yep.
But what he wasn't expecting though was the Sudden Edict.
Yeah.
Which is 1 and a black, instant, split second, target player sacrifices a creature.
Which that's something.
That's something. 2 people told me it was a spicy card to have in the sideboard.
It is. The reason it is because like if you're running an edict effect, I think it's generally accepted that the Shieldred's Edict is currently the best. However, it doesn't have split second.
Yeah. I had actually put it in there because of the Yawgmoth players. Because if say they do the Yawgmoth thing with the young wolf, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's an edge case if they only have the one creature. But right, like I could fatal push.
That's so bad. That sounds terrible.
I don't know. Like they can't activate Yawgmoth in response to
How
it.
many Stern Scoldings are you running? Just run more Stern Scoldings.
Yeah, I don't think I have enough of those.
You should have probably at least 2 in the 75, if not 3.
Something like that. I don't know. It was also my first iteration. I also didn't have a lot of the stuff that I wanted because I was waiting for mail to come.
Also subtlety. Have the subtleties.
I do have subtlety. I don't think I put them in the deck though. I got subtlety a couple times.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, but I also just you subtletied my Death Shadow. Let me just put that back on top so I can play it next turn.
Yeah, that's like an emergency ripcord. Like I'm hoping to possibly have some way of countering this, but like the only way Murktide can counter a Death Shadow is with counterspell. Like a Stern Scolding doesn't work because it's 13/13 on the stack.
Yeah, yep, yeah. Is it on the stack?
Yes, it's whatever's printed is what Stern
It's what's
Scolding
on
checks.
the stack. Okay.
So if it's like star, it will check whatever it is on the stack. Like that if it's star, that's what it will check.
That's different. Yeah. Okay.
Like, is Territorial Kavu star?
No, it gets plus per thing. So on the stack, it's like a 2/2 or whatever.
I'm now looking. Oh, it's star. So yeah, so on the stack, it would be like a 5/5 or a 3/3 likely against Domain Zoo. So yeah, you can only use Stern Scolding based off of their printed power toughness. You can't use it based off of what their power toughness would be when they're on the battlefield, unless it says star in the cost or in the power toughness.
I see. Cool stuff though. Yeah, it was fun. It felt really good. Like I was able to like my Primeval Titan matches, which is probably like was really hard. That matchup has just been hard for me no matter what. What deck I'm playing, but that match felt a lot closer than in previous weeks.
Correct. You're blue. You do better against that matchup.
Yeah. I've also been seeing like a Grixis version of the deck come out, which is interesting.
Oh, GDS has been around forever. Demir's been around forever. There's the red black shadow, which I think is decidedly worse. I think I have no respect for that deck at all.
Yeah, I don't know. And then I was thinking, like, just driving the other day, I was like, what if I had a Bug Shadow?
No.
No,
Stick with it. No, stick with 2
Bug
colors.
Shadow would be bad. Yeah,
No.
I'll stick with 2 colors till I get it, but I don't know. Bug Shadow sounds kind of fun.
No, don't do that to yourself.
But yeah, that's been my Fortnite Magic. You could see my Gruul Stompy play at on the channel. Dan's really upset with it because I had a lot of misplays. I really wasn't paying attention.
Very,
My
very
heart wasn't.
obvious misplays. Like whenever I pointed
Like
out one
6
to you,
times.
I pointed out one to
Yeah.
you. I was very upset about when your opponent goes Field of Ruin on your untapped mana, and you just go, "Yeah, that's fine." When you could just like you get a free Seek the Beast with that with
Yeah.
both the mana you're floating and then the new land that comes in, and while still holding up like a Tyvar stand to protect your creatures.
Yeah.
Was very mad when I saw that. I was so upset. I was so
It
mad.
is
I
what
was
it
like,
is.
the mana inefficiency right now is killing me.
It is what it is.
And then
I still
missing
went
lethal
positive.
in one game, and I was like, oh god, no.
Missing lethal where it didn't actually matter.
Well,
I still won.
it could. The thing is it could have mattered because they had a Shieldred in play.
That's true. But it's fine. We got it. We got there. It was a 3-2 record. I'm sure if I practiced it more, it would be better. But yeah, that's what I'm at.
Yeah.
We have one last topic. We have a change rule with murder at Karlov Manor. Suspend is getting reworked slightly, which I am sad about.
Yes.
Suspend is now no longer a must cast. It is a may. So when your card goes to 0 suspend counters, you now can choose to not cast it. This is upsetting because of Roiling Vortex and Eidolons and other things no longer trigger because you can just not cast it and not take 5 damage from Roiling Vortex. This is a bad change. I agree. You're changing the way the card works.
Yeah. You've
And I'm not
actively
sure why.
Yeah. You have actively made cards that red needs to be able to like mono red decks or like really just mono red decks.
Boros Burn?
You've taken away their ability to be able to counter certain game plans against them. So like because like they can't run they don't run chalice.
Nope.
So like they need this roiling vortex in order to do something versus rhinos. Like yeah, rhinos can get like go for a fair game plan and like be like, oh, we don't have to cascade off of this, or like,
Yeah.
a Rhinos player going like turn 1 forest into turn into suspend, and it's like, okay, here's a rolling vortex, have fun, and it's like, oh, well, shit,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. It's a bad change in my opinion. I feel like it's an unnecessary change.
yes.
The only thing that makes sense is they're trying to bring it in line with the discover effect, in which case they should just change any cascade card to discover.
Well, no, because it really is just impacting suspend, and like I don't know if there's suspend cards in Murders at Karlov Manor. There might
I
be.
don't think
I'm assuming there are. There have to be if they're making this change to
I don't
it.
think so.
So yeah,
I'm looking.
but yeah, I feel like Roiling Vortex now leaves every mono red 75, like because like the reason you're playing it is for. I mean, of course, actually, that's not true. It's worse, but it's not the worst.
Yeah.
Because like they're still trying to cascade into a rhino, but it's just like you can't get him anymore. You know, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just a weird change, and I'm not sure why we made the change.
Yeah. I'm looking up the Murders of Karlov Manor commander set also. I swear if this is to support some commander shit.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah, it is. 100% is. There's okay, so in the new set, the new commander set that's coming out, there's 2 new spend cards.
Okay.
Yeah, there's Charnel Serenade. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong because I don't English very well. And then Watcher of Hours. One is Suspend 6 and one is Suspend 3.
Okay.
I'm just reading the text on them. The Serenade one, it's a black sorcery. Surveil 3, then return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. Exile it. Exile this thing with 3 suspend counters on it.
Okay.
And then there's the Watcher of Hours, which is a creature. It's a 6/6 Sphinx with suspend 6 for 2 and a blue. Whenever you remove a time counter from this thing, when it is in exile, surveil 1. Flying Ward 3. Weird.
All right. So I'm opening up the release notes now. Card legality, blah, blah, blah. Let me just suspend. Turning mechanics, suspend. Feature which allows you to pay a reduced cost while suspend is receives a functional update along with this release. When the last time counter is removed from a suspended card, casting the spell is now optional. If you don't cast it, it will remain in exile indefinitely. Let's see. Do you say why you made this change? Due to recent rules change to suspend, you are no longer required to cast a suspended card as the second triggered ability of suspend resolves. Instead, as the second triggered ability resolves, you may cast the card. Timing permissions based on the card's type are ignored. If you don't cast the card, it remains exile. So it doesn't. No, they don't say it.
Literally, the text on the new cards is "You may cast this without paying its mana cost." I don't understand.
Ooh.
What you looking up?
I'm looking up Crashing Footfalls because there's a list reprint.
Does the new Crashing Footfalls? It just says suspend. It doesn't say it doesn't have the reminder text.
No, it does.
Does it?
Yep. Here, let me share the image with you. It has reminder text on it. So here you go. Suspend 4 rather than cast this card from your hand. Pay green and exile it with 4 time counters on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, remove a time counter. When the last card is removed, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. So yes,
what's the current printing?
Yep, it's the Murders at Markov Manor special guest Crashing Footfalls has been updated to say May.
Yeah. Yep. Everything else is when. Yeah. The old version of Footfall says cast it without paying its mana cost.
Yeah, that's stupid.
I don't know why they did this though.
I don't either. I would love to. Maybe they said it on a stream somewhere, but I would love to find out why they did this. But it makes Eidolon worse. It makes Roiling Vortex worse. So like burn players get fucked, I guess.
Yeah. I feel like this is like. I don't understand the reason for it is my thing. There's only 2 new cards being made with suspend in the commander. Like there's none in the main set. There's only 2 in the commander set. Why did this change need to happen?
I don't know. I'm sure we'll find out through some means, like through a Mark Rosewater Tumblr post, or some weekly Magic, weekly MTG stream or something.
I wonder if it's a Doctor Who. Oopsie.
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
I'm not. They had a lot of. Yeah, I don't know. I put a lot of effort in this anyway.
Yeah. Just don't play burn. It's that easy. Just don't play burn anymore.
The only way you can really counter these now is through a Void Mirror or Chalice on 0. But now you just made burn more expensive.
Yeah. Just buy your chalices at like $40 for some reason. Your retro frame chalices at $40 for some reason. When you originally sold one for $70, and then they were just randomly at fucking $40.
Good job, Dan.
I know. Mengu
I don't know
Finance.
how. I don't understand how you get that every time. Like
Uh,
you get them every time.
there's times where I do eat shit. Like, don't get me wrong. Like on my
Yeah,
Ragavans, those have dropped in price. Thanks for reprinting that thing into the ground.
yeah. Let's see. I overpaid for 2 of my chalices, but the other one's like 63. I overpaid by like $20 for my retro frame Chalice of the Voids.
Ah,
Oh well.
Bill, this Murktide hand I just drew that's just gonna get goldfished is so good. It's 3 lands, DRC, Shredder, Bobble.
The Blue Bowl.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh man. What was it? So like a couple weeks ago, I was at Modern, and I was running the Gruul Prowess deck, and I kept getting an opening hand of land, the Monastery Swift Spear, and 3 baubles.
Oh well, you should just be winning the game. It's just like, all right, here's a
I didn't win. I didn't win a single game where I had the 3 baubles, but
here's a 4/5. I've drawn 3 cards. Go.
yeah, it was hilarious because every time I'd say land, crack it, fetch, get the Swift Spear out, and then I play 3 baubles, and he responds to either any of these, and they're just like, nope.
Yeah. Boy, it's really good when you can throw a 4 power creature down on turn 1, huh?
It's fantastic.
Why do you think Scam does it?
Because they're bastards. At least mine shrinks back down. Anyways, I think we're done, Dan. So we're going to wrap it up here. I'm going to say, if you're watching us on YouTube and you're enjoying the content or hate us, I don't care. Leave us a comment down below. Tell us why I had a bad take on the RC cheater. If you want to support us more, though, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and leave a like on the video. Dan, tell them what to do on the podcast side.
Well, on the podcast side, you can play Mishra's Bobble on turn at the beginning of your turn 1 if you have 2 lands in hand. That way, you know if you have to fetch or if you can just leave the card on top, which is what I'm currently doing on this current test hand. Oh, it's an Unholy Heat on top. I already have one of those. I don't need that. But you can on the podcast side just leave us a review. Subscribe on your podcast app of choice. If they have reviews and support reviews, leave a review there, and then tell Bill he's an idiot.
Fantastic. And with that, we're going to say keep calm and spike on.